I have a confession. I probably spent over $100 on budgeting apps, premium spreadsheet templates, and those get your life together planners. And I have never, ever successfully followed a budget for more than 48 hours. I'm not kidding. This right here, I'm imagining pointing to a stack of old empty notebooks. This is my graveyard of failed budgets. And for years I thought I was the problem. I would sit down on the first of the month, full of motivation. I'd download the new app, I'd make the 50 different categories for my spending. Coffee, $30. Groceries, $400. Fun money, $50. It all looks so perfect, so professional, and then life. I'd go to the store and groceries would be $412. And I'd feel that first little pang of, ugh, I failed. Then I'd grab a $5 coffee on the way to work because I was tired, and I'd think, well, the whole day is ruined. By the end of the week, I was so far off the rails, I wouldn't even open the app. I just let the notifications pile up until I finally deleted it in shame. I can just picture the little stick figure me trying to hold up this giant, perfect, color-coded spreadsheet, and it just flattens me every single time. The guilt was the worst part. It wasn't even about the money, not really. It was this feeling that I was just irresponsible, undisciplined. Why couldn't I just do the thing? It made me want to give up completely. It made me feel like budget was just another word for failure. I was so tired of feeling like a failure. This is my real-time journey, not expert advice. Here is exactly what happened. I was at my absolute lowest point with my money, looking at my debt number, feeling completely crushed by all these perfect systems that didn't work for me. I gave up on them. I decided to stop trying to be perfect. So I was sitting there looking at my real debt number, which honestly I was too scared to even calculate for a long time, and I just felt stuck. The perfect 100% budget was like trying to jump to the top of a skyscraper. I was always going to fail, and that's when it sort of clicked. What if I stopped trying to jump to the top? What if I just tried to find the first step? I remembered reading about habits, about just trying to get 1% better at something. Not 100%, not 50%, just 1%. And I thought, what if I applied that to my money? What if I stopped trying to follow a perfect budget and just focused on one single percent? This is the 1% rule for me. It's not some fancy finance bro equation. It's an anti-budget. It's my permission slip to not be perfect. Here's what I mean. My old budget would say, you spent $500 on food last month. This month, you must spend $400. That's a 20% cut. That's a $100 difference. That feels hard. It feels like deprivation. And when I'd fail, because I'd spend 410, I'd feel that guilt all over again. My 1% system just asks, can you spend $495 this month? Can I spend 1% less? Can I spend $5 less? Yeah. Yeah, I can probably do that. That doesn't feel impossible. Or let's talk about my impulse buys, that $5 coffee. In the old system, that $5 coffee broke my coffee category, which meant my whole budget was broken, which meant I was a failure, so what's the point? Might as well buy another one tomorrow. In my 1% system, the $5 coffee happens, and I log it. I just look at it honestly, and I say, okay, that happened. The goal isn't to be a perfect robot who never buys coffee. The goal is to get 1% better. So my 1% action for that day is just to transfer $1. Just $1 from my checking account to my debt payment. I'm picturing myself drawing this. The old way is a giant, scary vertical line labeled perfect budget. And stick figure me is at the bottom, just looking up, terrified. The new way? It's a staircase. A really, really long staircase with tiny, tiny steps. Each step is just 1%. And stick figure me is just taking that first step. It's not fast, it's not glamorous, but I'm moving. This system is the only thing that has ever worked for me. It's the only thing that's kept me from quitting. It's about building a system of small wins instead of aiming for one giant, impossible win. My budget now is just honesty. I look at my numbers. I track what I actually spend. No shaming, no guilt. It's just data. And then I ask myself one question every single day. What is my 1% action? Sometimes it's moving $1. Sometimes it's making coffee at home once. Sometimes it's just not buying that thing on Amazon that's been in my cart for an hour. It's small. It's slow. But it's the first time in my life I feel like I'm actually making progress. It's the first time I haven't just given up after 48 hours. So this is the rule. It's the only one I follow now. It's not a budget, it's a practice. The only goal is to be 1% better than I was yesterday. And better doesn't mean perfect. It just means present. It means I didn't just close my eyes and ignore the problem for another month. My old self, the one who bought all those planners, would be trying to find an extra $500 this month to get serious about my debt. I'd spend a week eating nothing but rice and beans, feel miserable and deprived, and then reward myself with a $150 online shopping binge. I'd have failed my own impossible standard, and I'd be right back where I started. Only now I'd also feel like a clown. My 1% system is the opposite. It's gentle. It's boring. It's not about finding $500, it's about finding $1 today and then finding another $1 tomorrow. I'm picturing the stick figure me again. But now, instead of being crushed by that giant spreadsheet, I'm just tapping a little pebble with my foot. And that pebble just rolls, just a tiny bit. Then I tap it again tomorrow. That's it. That's the whole system. It's about consistency over intensity. And that's what I want to share with anyone who feels that same budget guilt I did. That awful sinking feeling that you're just bad with money. What I'm learning slowly is that maybe we're not broken. Maybe the all or nothing perfect budget system is what's broken. My only rule is to just show up, to track the spending, even when it's ugly, to find one small 1% win. Because I can do that. I am doing that. And it's the only thing that's ever felt like it's actually working. My 1% mission for tomorrow is just to move $1 from my checking account to my savings. That's it. Just 1% today. That's the whole task. What's your 1% step? Will you find $1 to move? Will you just look at your bank account for 30 seconds without judgment? Let's share our 1% step in the comments below. Let's do this together. I am not a financial expert or advisor. This content is for documenting my personal journey and for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research before making any financial decisions.